Hey everybody, today I'm here doing a product review. It's been quite some time, I think, since I've done one, but today I'm actually looking at the Micro Art Studio Battle Mat, and this one in particular is the Terminus Segments Communal Modular Mat by Micro Art Studio. This mat is specifically designed for Infinity, and the reason why I want to do, because I've done reviews on mats in the past, and this one is special because it's a modular mat. So this actually comes with a number of 1 foot by 1 foot sections to make basically a 4 foot by 4 foot mat. I think they talk a bit more about the dimensions on the back, and I'll go over that. But it's basically made for Infinity, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner. And in this video, I will go over the product as its information is listed on the outside of the box as far as what you're getting. I'm going to set it up and just take a look at it with you to see, not only just unbox it, but show how it lays out and what that looks like and my thoughts on that. And then finally, my plan is to put it up, because this is a rubber mat, which I'll be mentioning soon in more detail, but this is like a mouse pad rubber mat with individual sections. And I am curious, as it all fits in this nice box here, as to how thick it is compared to the more typical one-piece mouse pad mats that I'm used to, and so I'll show one of them in comparison to this. This is sealed now, so I don't really even at all know what this is going to be like yet. So I will first, before opening it, just mention some information about it. One thing I'll just say is I hadn't really seen anybody do a really nice proper unboxing of this and in-depth look at it, and because I was interested in buying one of these and I just could not find it on YouTube, and whenever that happens to me, that's a signal to make one of those. And so it says this is it has many possible configurations. That's because you can essentially keep moving the tiles, and it allows you to create a different sort of battle each time, or a different kind of layout. It has, it says for inexperienced players, because of the way the mat's designed with the markings, it makes it a little easier to judge weapon distances, but then also it helps for deployment and quadrant control. And some of my research in this, particularly if you're looking at this for Infinity, because I think you could use this for other sci-fi games, but there's some scenarios where it, you look to do quadrant control, and so basically the way it's sectioned out, it helps with that. So it's a little bit of a game aid there. As well, for Infinity, this is meant to be compatible with all of the ITS scenarios. So that's their, I believe that's the Infinity Tournament standard or Infinity Tournament scenario. I don't remember the exact abbreviation for it, but that's basically the Infinity Tournament scene is what I'll call it. So because it's modular, you can scale it up and down if you wanted to buy other ones. It's meant to be able to work with other ones like this, and so you could make an even bigger table if you want, although I think this is probably really good for the standard Infinity game. And then it says that it stores easily and takes up very little space. I know I could probably attest to that, because I do have a number of the big rubber mats in the long tubes, and they do, it's trick, I mean, a little bit in finding a good way to store them. This essentially, once you put it back in the box, you could just put this on your shelf, to some degree with your books, or even just, with smaller stuff. It'd be very easy to store. Contains 16 tiles that combine into a Terminus Segments Communal Modular Mat. It's the actual specifications. It says each tile is 12 by 12 inch or 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter high quality polyester printout with anti-slip rubber back. So it should be, as I understand it, 4 feet by 4 feet. So I will fast forward and open this up. All right, so I'm back looking at the box itself, and looking at these, I'm thinking it's possible this might be a little bit thinner than a typical rubber mat, but I'm not sure yet. But it really does have some really nice printing, as many of these products do. I mean, this material allows some really nice printing on there, but as you can see, the level of detail in there is really nice. And so I would almost say that it kind of meets the expectation that I would have for it, and having seen competitor products like this. Only difference being that this is just really, small. One thing I thought was really cool with this is that since I'm actually doing a lot of infinity painting, when I do my videos, if I wanted, rather than just having my cutting mat, I could kind of display these, just really easily, just right on my painting desk with one of these as well, which is kind of nice, a little versatile in that way. I'm not going to go through each tile, but I'll show another one here, and you can just see really nice color, same sort of thing. And so what I'll do next is I will just open this up and just on the table and come back with a screenshot of it laid out in one particular pattern. So laid out like this, I kind of realized on my dining room table here I can't really put a proper infinity table up of 4x4. This is really a 3x4 setup that I have here. I didn't painstakingly look to match up roads and things, but I do think it looks good just like this, but I could in some cases line this up so some of the plates match up to the other sides. Like you could even just do something like this and pretty easily get things to match differently. But there's still multiple configurations in how you can do this. There we go. Just line it up. One of the things I wondered about when I was looking at this is how much it was going to bother me to really be able to see the sections. If you actually spend any time at all, like you can really remove, let's say in this case I have white underlay, a white tablecloth, so you should see it through completely. And I think it works pretty well from that point. One thing that I did notice that I do think is worth mentioning is that where the mat is cut, I've noticed some irregularities between the mats, and that is here, it shows some fraying here. Now, it's not actually the rubber underlay that's actually fraying, like that looks cut clean, but it does look like maybe the top print part in some spots just has a little bit of what looks like where you can see a little bit where it's been cut in some spots. And it's not the case with every one of them and all of it, but I just see it a little bit. It doesn't stand out to me that much. I don't think it bothers me too much, but some folks might be concerned about that lack of uniformity. And when you pull back, I don't really think you see it, to be honest. But I could see, I'm just to do an honest review here, keeping myself honest, I just want to mention that because I think that is possibly something that could bother someone. I'm not going to roll any dice on this, but I think this definitely passes the dice test as a mouse mat. And so what I'm going to do is two more things. I am going to show at the end just some miniatures and buildings on it, just to give a bit of a look at it, from the infinity point of view. But I'm going to quickly show now how it sizes up on the thickness compared to a standard mat. Well, I have one of my Frontline gaming mats up here just to take a look at the two as far as the width. One thing I'll just notice is right off the bat that what I mentioned about the frayed ends, ironically, the mat that I'm reviewing today, where I just talked about the frayed ends, in this spot you don't really see it, but right here, like, you're not seeing what I described. But I've used this mat quite a bit from Frontline Gaming. You can see where they do cut the edge on the top, how there's that little bit of white discoloration where the very edge is. And so that's the same thing that I've seen in just some spots for this mat, which is brand new, just in certain spots. But I expect that that's going to happen. That's just the nature of the beast with this type of mat and where you cut it. It's just the edge of the grid of the mouse pad material. I'm going to say that putting it side by side like this, that it's possible that it's another third bigger, which these are not incredibly thick, it's not saying a whole lot, but it is a little thicker actually than what I'm used to. I don't know why. Maybe just seeing it put in the box like that, I just immediately assumed there was no way it could be. But that's just shows that until you measure something, you really don't know. So I will be right back. I'm just going to show how this looks up close with a couple miniatures. Well, just pulling out some of my infinity buildings and miniatures that I've been painting recently. Looks to me like it does the job pretty well. It has a really nice look to it, and looks like a lot of the stuff that I see that Corvus Belli puts out as far as for Infinity. It kind of gives it that ambiance, which I kind of like. And so I hope you have enjoyed this review of the Modular mat by MicroArt Studio for Infinity, and find this helpful should you be interested in something like this. And take care.